report that came out of The Intercept that we later covered on the Western Journal this past week. This former Afghan resident who was a interpreter for the U.S. Armed Forces. He was a great ally to us. He did us right. He did right by us. He became a U.S. citizen in 2019, and then just days ago, the State Department just left him in the wind. They just left him in Afghanistan, where the Taliban is targeting. They want to murder people like him. Anyone who worked with Western forces, all the interpreters, they kind of have had a target on their back, and they've been persecuted even before we finished our exit. And what's really shocking about this story, and this man's name is Prince Wafa. I apologize if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. I'm not, I'm not very fluent in a lot of the languages native to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
but Wafa, he had called the State Department, days before Biden pulled all the troops out. He asked them, look, what am I going to do? I'm here with my wife. We're both in danger. The Taliban's going to come. They're going to murder us both. And a State Department official talked to him on the phone and said, look, shelter in place right now. We have a plan. We're going to get you out. We're going to get everyone out of Afghanistan. Every U.S. citizen is going to get out. So just shelter in place, wait 24 hours, and we're going to call you back. So he waits a day, and then the next morning, he wakes up, he turns on the TV, and what does he see? He sees Biden bragging about how successful the evacuation effort was. Except one tiny problem, he was still there.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and so obviously, frantically, he calls the State Department back. He's like, guys, what is happening? What am I supposed to do? They talk for a few minutes, and then basically the conversation ends with the State Department official saying, I'm sorry, looks like we don't actually have a plan for you today, so just keep sheltering in place. And then he hung up on the man that Biden left stranded in Afghanistan.
Wow. And
it's been amazing. There's been all kinds of different reports in terms of how many people have been left behind. It seems like it's been a couple hundred, 200 at the most, from a lot of the numbers I've seen. I heard from some sources today that it's as many as 1,000. I've only heard that in like one place, so I'm not necessarily sure that's true. But regardless, the number is in the hundreds. So it's been ridiculous. And what's been really shocking to me is seeing places like the Washington Post, places like the New York Times. They've actually called out the president for this. They've actually called out Biden for leaving people behind. And it's just after months and months and months of never seeing, forget months, after years of never seeing the media establishment ever being critical of a Democrat leader. It's amazing to see this reversal. And I just wanted to throw this to you guys and just say, is the situation just so bad that they can't cover it up anymore? Or has something else changed? Why are they starting to turn on Biden a little bit here?
Well, I have two theories. The first is that the media obviously thrives on outrage. As long as they have something to sell you, as long as they have something that's going to spark something in your brain that says, oh, I need to share this, why aren't people talking about it? They're always going to go for that. Now, this kind of bleeds into my second theory, which says that they created a media sphere that was completely focused on Donald Trump. Now that Donald Trump's gone, they don't have that person to push at every single day. And so now they're actually forced to do their jobs and go, oh, wait, this actually went down south pretty bad. And finally, they have to cover it because he screwed up on the world stage at a national level, and there's no way you can cover it up. This is world policy. This isn't some social justice warrior movement.
And I like kind of what you're getting at there, which is basically in news, it's always best to be kind of the opposition, to be the people that are opposite of the ruling class, to be holding the ruling class accountable. That's why all of those outlets were so successful during the Trump years. And it's also why so many of them are like firing hundreds of employees during the Biden years. So do you think, Cameron, that's what's playing into this? Is that, their numbers are bleeding. They need to produce some sort of good content. And so, okay, we're going to be critical of the president, even though he's a Democrat.
Yeah, and I think there's also an aspect of, I don't think any objective person can look at this and say, not that I'm accusing the media of being objective. I think that's way out of question with a lot of them. But I think the issue is this is on the practical end. You tell someone to shelter in place. You tell hundreds of Americans to do that. How is that doable? How do you do that in Afghanistan? I was joking in the office earlier. Is there a Motel 6? Is there an embassy suites that these people can go to? Is there Instacart? How are these people surviving right now is what I want to know when there is such a high risk. Now, kind of going into the media end of that, I think there really is a lot of individual stories that are going to be coming out about the people that are left behind in Afghanistan right now. And I think the media does have, we right wing, left wing, whatever media you are, do have an obligation to cover these stories, because what happened was we not only left our own people behind, we left people that helped us behind too. And we're going to see a lot of those issues as well. So the Biden administration completely messed this up, this whole process, and they're touting it as a success. Maybe if this was an emergency withdrawal of troops, it would have been a success, but that's not what happened. If the Taliban woke up one day and decided, hey, we're going to take over Afghanistan, this would be a different story. But when you had deadlines planned for months and months of planning that could have gone into this to withdraw the troops, that's where the big issue is that this was supposed to be planned, and now we're not seeing that.